Friends, this video discusses the second moral question paper on appreciating drama and theatre. Well, the question paper is found at the end of this book. The questions and their answers have been prepared in 6 pages and it is uploaded, and the link is given down in the description box. You can download the pages and take printout, and you can read the questions and their answers along with this video. Well, friends, question number 1. How does Aristotle define tragedy? Tragedy, says Aristotle, is an imitation of an action that is serious, complete, and of a certain magnitude, through pity and fear, effecting the proper purgation, that is catharsis, of these emotions. So, according to Aristotle, a tragedy is something very serious, and it's a story that is complete and has a certain magnitude. It evokes the feelings of pity and fear, and finally it effects purgation, purification of emotions, that is catharsis. This is a tragedy according to Aristotle. Question number 2. What are the most important features of a Senecan tragedy? Senecan tragedies were full of murder, revenge, ghosts, and bloodshed. They were revenge plays, revenge tragedies. A character seeks revenge against a stronger opponent for a real or imagined wrongdoing. Question number 3. What is climax in a tragedy? Climax is the turning point that changes the protagonist's fate. It is the consequence of the events that occurred in the rising action. So at first, there is the opening, then exposition, rising action, then the turning point. The turning point is known as the climax. Question number 4. What is tragicomedy? A tragicomedy is a dramatic work that incorporates both tragic and comic elements. For example, Shakespeare's The Merchant of Venice. So a tragicomedy contains the elements of both a tragedy and a comedy. Question number 5. What is a morality play? A morality play is an allegorical drama with the moral lessons that were very popular in the 15th and 16th centuries, that is the medieval times. The characters of the morality play personify moral qualities, that is abstract qualities, such as, for example, charity, or vice, that is evil, or abstractions such as death or youth. Question number 6. What are the central features of Expressionism? Expressionism was a revolt against realism and naturalism. It uses symbols and exaggeration to represent emotions rather than representing physical reality. So look at the painting, which is full of symbols, and it is very difficult for ordinary people to understand it. And it was a revolt against realistic pictures or naturalistic pictures. Question number 7. Why did Iago hate Othello? Well, Iago gives 2 reasons for his ill will against Othello. Look at the answer. Othello ignored him for promotion to lieutenant. Look at the spelling of lieutenant. L-I-E-U-T-E-N-A-N-T. Lieutenant. And chose Cassio, who, according to him, is much less qualified in warfare. Iago also suspects that Othello has slept with his wife Emilia, making him a cuckold. Question number 8. Why does Othello go to Cyprus? There is an impending threat of Turkish attack on Cyprus, which is an island in the Mediterranean Sea controlled by Venice. Othello goes to Cyprus to fight the Turks. Question number 9. How did Emilia die? Emilia discovers that it was Desdemona's handkerchief that became the primary evidence for Othello's suspicion of his wife. She also knows that her husband is behind all this, and she reveals it. For this, Iago stabs her with his sword and kills her. Question number 10. Why did Luca argue with Popova? Luca asks Popova to stop mourning because it has been a year since her husband's death. He feels that she is wasting her life continuing to mourn her husband instead of living her life, instead of enjoying her life. She is wasting her life by mourning her husband's death, who died a year ago. Question number 11. How did Popov respond when Smirnov expressed his love for her? Popov dismisses Smirnov's compliments of love. She continues to resist him until, in the end, he embraces and kisses her. Question number 12. Why did Peter fight with Jerry? Peter wants the bench in the park for himself. Well, he is not ready to permit anybody to sit there. But Jerry begins pushing Peter off the bench and challenges him to fight for his territory. So, for this reason, Peter fights with Jerry. Question number 13. Why did Jerry go to the zoo? Jerry went to the zoo to find out more about the way people exist with animals and the way animals exist with each other. Question number 14. Why was the hippie boy startled when he saw the stick falling? Because he thought he was about to get hurt. Hippie boy was startled because he came very close to being hit by the falling stick. Question number 15. Why does the hippie boy trust the man and the woman? The hippie boy trusts the man and the woman because they say they are not policemen. So friends, these are the 15 short answer questions. Now look at the paragraph questions. Question number 16. Write a note on tragicomedies. A tragicomedy is a literary genre that blends the aspects of both tragic and comic forms. It represents either a tragic play, which contains enough comic elements to lighten the overall tragic mood, or a serious action that would bring a tragic turn to the protagonist. Yet, the tragedy would be averted by a sudden reversal of circumstance and conclude happily. A tragicomedy is based on human suffering that invokes an accompanying catharsis, and at the same time humorous or amusing by inducing laughter. Shakespeare's The Merchant of Venice is a very good example. Question number 17. Epic theatre by the German playwright Brecht. Epic theatre is a movement in drama theorized and popularized by Brecht, the German playwright. He was against the Aristotelian tradition of theatre, in which audience enjoyment and emotional indulgence was more important than social and political criticism. So Brecht considered plays as a platform for discussion of current social events, the contemporary events. With the epic theatre, he aimed to engage the audience intellectually, to make them think. Brecht wanted the audience to think about his life, about the circumstance, about the situation. He used a range of devices to remind them that they were watching theatre. Now, this was not life. This was theatre, a forum for discussion, and not real life. Epic theatre has no plot. It has no well-developed plot, as in, for example, Othello. The scenes are episodic, different episodes. It doesn't have a systematic development. It also shows an argument. The audience can study the story objectively and recognize social realities. It was a forum for the discussion of contemporary social events. Question number 18. Explore the character of Desdemona. Desdemona is a young Venetian beauty who has lived and died for love. She is the embodiment of love, loyalty, fidelity, and compassion. She is a resourceful woman, full of conviction and authority. She proves that she is a woman of conviction and authority at the appropriate time, at the most suitable time. Noble in birth, very dutiful, and highly compassionate. Desdemona also maintains her goodness and nobility in her death as well. At times, she is very submissive, but Desdemona is willing to take credit for her own murder. Though she maintains to the end that she is guiltless, Desdemona also forgives her husband, Othello. And it is this forgiveness that makes Desdemona an unforgettable character. Question number 19. Discuss the title of the play, The Bear. The title of Chekhov's one-act play, The Bear, comes from Mrs. Popo's reference to Mr. Smirnov. She calls Mr. Smirnov the bear, the boor. She remarks that Smirnov is a crude man. He is unrefined, uncultured, a very dirty man. A bear and a boor who does not know how to treat women. A bear is considered to be an untidy, a dirty, and a filthy animal. The physical appearance of Smirnov is not much different. He makes sarcastic and rude remarks at the lady, Mrs. Popo. He calls her disobedient, faithless, and insincere. He speaks to her so impolitely that she is compelled to treat him in the same manner. Smirnov rebukes and taunts Popo in such a harsh manner that the latter calls him a rude and ill-bred man. She also calls him a bear and a boor repeatedly. The title, The Bear, captures the height of the conflict. Question number 20. The element of communication gap in the zoo story. Peter and Jerry are unable to bridge their differences to achieve any real communication. They cannot have any sort of communication because they are completely different people. This communication failure, this communication gap, occurs at two levels, on linguistic and philosophical levels. On the linguistic level, that is at the level of the language, the men have trouble conversing, that is communicating, because they have different understandings of words and concepts. For example, when Peter tells Jerry that he has two daughters, Peter assumes, Peter means that this communicates that he is married. However, Jerry does not make this assumption. There is also a deeper failure to communicate on a philosophical level. Their opinions about life and its meaning are so different that makes it difficult for them to connect with each other. They are unable to connect with each other. They are unable to understand each other. Ultimately, the play's tragedy results from the fact that Jerry will never find a way to communicate with a world that considers him an outsider. Question number 21. The woman from hell is emotional and sensitive. Comment. That is the character of the woman from hell. The woman from hell is a trainee. Her job is to record, to write in an unemotional way, without any attachment, the occurrences, the happenings of people turning into objects, because it has been found that people turn into objects at death. Unlike her partner, well, she is not like her partner is man from hell. She gets emotionally involved with the people she studies. Man from hell has no emotional attachment with the objects that he studies, whereas woman from hell has a sort of emotional attachment. She also empathizes with the man who has turned into a stick and with his son. She hates the idea of throwing the stick in the gutter. When man from the hell says, well, we'll throw the stick back into the gutter, she says, no, please don't do that. She wants to give it to the young son. At the end of the play, woman tries to comfort the stick, telling him that he's not alone. She tells the stick, well, you are not alone. See here, in front of the stage here, there are a lot of people, an ocean of people. She tells him, you have a lot of people. Woman from hell represents the formation of bureaucracy. She registers details, but maintains empathetic relationship with the objects she studies. Question number 22. How far Polanski's Macbeth adaptation loyal to the source text? Remember, these are two entirely different medium. One is a play and the other one is a film. Polanski's adaptation is also one of the most faithful to Shakespeare's Macbeth. Shakespeare's Macbeth is a play, whereas Polanski's Macbeth is a film. Still, it is highly cinematic. Though it is very close, loyal to the drama, it is highly cinematic and rich in creativity. The parts where the film and the play deviate are wholly achieved through cinematic turns. Polanski did a lot of homework on translating Macbeth from stage to screen after deciding to produce the film of the play. A number of critical decisions concerning the translation were made. For example, instead of seeing the three witches, we see a whole cavern. At the beginning of Shakespeare's play, we can see three witches at the dead of night. Whereas at the beginning of the film, we can see a cavern with the three witches seated inside. When Lady Macbeth sleepwalks in the nude and Duncan's assassination are shown on screen rather than just alluded to as it was in the play. In Shakespeare's play, these two incidents, number one, the sleepwalking scene of Lady Macbeth, and the second one, King Duncan's assassination, these are just referred to, these are just reported, whereas these two events are shown in the film, because in Shakespeare's times, the murder of a king was not supposed to be presented on the stage. Question number 23. Symbolism in Akale, which is a famous film by Shyama Prasad. Akale is an adaptation of the famous drama, The Glass Menagerie, by the American playwright Tennessee Williams. Look at the answer. As in The Glass Menagerie, symbols and metaphors lie at the heart of Akale as well. The director uses plenty of minor symbolic details in addition to those present in the play to highlight the underlying emotion of each scene. The opening shot, that is the start, features a glass toy hanging from the car mirror. It hints at how the fruits of one's decisions pervade the present. Similarly, Kamala's getting onto the boat, boarding the boat, is a reminder of the past haunting the present. The most important symbol of the entire movie, as well as the play, of course, would be the glass menagerie itself. It mirrors its caretaker's nature quite well. The total effect of these symbols provides an inner glimpse into the emotional condition of each character. Well, these are the paragraph questions. Now let's take a look at the essays, the 4 essays. Question number 24. Essay number 1, the first essay. Write an essay on the various components in a classical tragedy. Well, the various components of a classical tragedy are 6. Number 1, the first one, the most important one, is the plot. Then 2 and 3, character and thought. 4 and 5, diction and song. And 6, the spectacles. Well, this is the way I have arranged the 6 components in the essay. The first one, plot, in the second paragraph. Character and thought, third paragraph. Diction and song, fourth paragraph. And spectacle in the fifth paragraph? Well, look at the essay. Paragraph number 1. According to Aristotle, there are 6 components in a classical tragedy. They are plot, character, thought, diction, song, and spectacle. Of these, well, the most important element is plot. Paragraph number 2, about plot. Plot consists of the main events of a play arranged in an interrelated sequence of events. An interrelated sequence of events. The actions and events are ordered towards achieving a particular artistic and emotional effect. Plot comprises the following ideas, the following concepts. Number 1, protagonist. That is the central character, the hero. Number 2, antagonist, who is the villain. Well, in case of Othello, the protagonist is Othello himself. Antagonist is Iago. Number 3, foil. That is the character opposite to the hero, the character who contrasts with the protagonist. Well, remember in Othello it is Cassio. Then of course suspense. Intrigue. Well, Iago's intrigues, the schemes to fool the other characters. Then there is a beginning, a middle, and an end in a plot. Exposition, that comes at the beginning. The action sequence in a play. Action sequence, of course, the opening scene, exposition, the rising action, climax, falling action, catastrophe, and resolution and the denouement, the catharsis, the final catharsis. This is a plot. Character and thought. Character, of course, characters, that is the persons of the play, are the next important components. Characters are persons represented in a dramatic work. The protagonist, that is the most important character, the hero, in a play should be noble and good. That is a person of good, noble character, so that his actions and the misfortune will attract the concern and sympathy of the spectators. At the same time, he should have a tragic flaw, F-L-A-W, a defect in his character, a peculiar trait of character, which may ultimately result in his misfortune and or downfall. Thought of a character is revealed either through his actions or through dialogue, that is his thoughts. Now, paragraph number 4. Then come diction. Diction means words, dictionary, a book of words. Diction and song. Diction consists of words, phrases, syntax, that is the arrangement of words in a sentence, and the figurative language that appear in drama. The classical Greek plays were all written in verse, that is, in poetry. Shakespeare used verse for his plays. Song is another fundamental element of ancient drama. The word tragedy actually means God song. And the last paragraph, the 5th paragraph, well, the last component of a tragedy is spectacle. Spectacle means costumes, that is the dress of the characters, stage properties, and special visual effects. Well, the scenes should be dramatic and spectacular, well, to attract the attention of the audience, to capture and sustain the interest of the viewers. So this is the essay about the various components in a classical tragedy. Now we come to the second essay question. Question number 25. Analyze the idea of jealousy and love in the play Othello. That is one of the most important questions from Othello. That is the theme of jealousy and love in Othello. Well, as far as this essay is concerned, the essay has been prepared in 4 paragraphs. The first one is introduction and the last one conclusion. Well, second paragraph is about love and the third paragraph is about jealousy. Take a look at the essay. The first paragraph. The themes of love and jealousy are inseparably linked in the tragedy of Othello. Love is a significant theme in the play. The play also shows how jealousy can be fueled by mere circumstantial evidence and destroy lives. Paragraph number 2. When the play opens, Othello has complete love and trust for Desdemona. However, he is fooled into believing that Desdemona is unfaithful. In the play, love is a force, is a terrible force, very powerful force that overcomes large obstacles. Major obstacles are overcome with the help of love, but minor obstacles is tripped up by small ones. This is the problem. It provides Othello with intensity. It gives him power. Love gives him power, but not direction, not how to proceed in life. And gives Desdemona access to his heart. Love gives Desdemona access, entry into the heart of Othello, but not his mind. Othello does love Desdemona. He really loves her and cares for her tremendously and regrets his actions. Desdemona is Othello's happiness, there's no doubt. And his love for her is pure love, genuine love. He expresses his affection with a kiss. Oh, that's a great symbol, isn't it? A kiss, which embodies his love for her. Desdemona says how she will remain faithful and loving to Othello, even if he insists on accusing her of infidelity, that is, unfaithfulness. She swears that she would love him even if his mistreatment was responsible for her death. That's the power of love. Now, jealousy. Jealousy operates in the characters' lives from the very beginning. Rodrigo is envious of Othello because Rodrigo wants to marry Desdemona, but Desdemona marries Othello. So naturally, he is jealous because he wishes to be with Desdemona. Othello is furious with envy because he believes Cassio and Desdemona have been in a secret affair. Iago says about jealousy, "Oh, beware, my lord, beware of jealousy. It is the green-eyed monster. Jealousy is the green-eyed monster." Emilia says the same thing about jealousy. Emilia says it is a monster. Jealousy is a monster. Begot, that is produced by itself, created by itself, born on itself. Othello is not jealous by nature. The cunning Iago makes him extremely jealous and mad. Jealousy eventually leads Othello to his tragic downfall. That is, the tragedy is brought about by Othello's jealousy. He murders his innocent wife and takes his own life away in the end. And the last paragraph, these contrasts of love and jealousy are weaved together to form a pattern in Othello. The play creates its own symbolic world. It is also a study of how jealousy can be fueled by mere circumstantial evidence and can destroy lives. So this is the essay about the theme of jealousy and love in Othello. Question number 26. Examine the intricacies in human relationships as it appears in the zoo story. Well, the essay has been prepared in 5 paragraphs. Paragraph number 1, introduction. Edward Albee's play, The Zoo Story, presents a wide range of complex human relationships. The strange ideas about intimacy. Number 1, the role of animals in helping people get along with other people. Now, how can animals help people get along with, have friendship with other people? Urban alienation, another theme. Failures in communication and alternative sexuality, that is homosexuality, are some of the aspects of this theme. Paragraph number 2. Jerry has unconventional ideas about what it means to be intimate with another person. Now, what is intimacy with another person? Now, Jerry's idea is very, very unnatural, unconventional. Intimacy is not just about friendship. It requires fundamental sense of understanding and compassion between two people. Jerry's ideas about intimacy is against the established social norms. It is not normal, it is something abnormal, which do not encourage this kind of mingling between strangers. Well, the type of mingling that Jerry makes with Peter, it is something abnormal. Peter represents this modern and polite society. Paragraph number 3. Jerry frequently refers to animals in his conversation with Peter. To him, animals are a solution to his isolation. Now, how can it be a solution? Jerry understands that he has a problem. Now, he cannot easily get along with other people. He has a problem getting along with other people and believes that he can solve this problem by practicing interaction with animals. Well, he'll have interaction, he'll befriend, he will have friendship with animals first, and then this friendship will help him have a friendship with other human beings. This is what he believes. Albie's portrayal of alternative sexuality, which is homosexuality, is also closely related, tied to his exploration of alienation, that is isolation. Because America had an extremely conservative culture as far as sexuality was concerned, people whose desires fell outside the mainstream, that is outside the normal, were often marginalized. In those days, homosexuals were not encouraged, they were marginalized. Paragraph number 4. Jerry has a deep sense of loneliness in the background of growing urbanization. Peter and Jerry also have a vast difference in their life stories and their social class. While Peter enjoys a high salary, they are completely different people. Peter is very comfortable and he has a job, a good salary, and also a stable family life. Jerry has no job and he characterizes himself as a permanent transient. Permanent transient. Permanent is the opposite of transient. Paragraph number 5. Peter and Jerry are unable to bridge their differences to achieve any real communication. They cannot solve their problems, the differences, and they cannot have any sort of communication. There is a total lack of communication. This communication failure occurs at two levels, linguistic and philosophic. On the linguistic level, men have trouble conversing, talking, communicating because they have different understandings of words and concepts. There is also a deeper failure to communicate on the philosophical level. Well, this is the essay in 5 paragraphs about the intricacies of human relationships as it appears in the zoo story. And here is the last essay, which is question number 27. Polanski's Macbeth. Well, we have already discussed that is a contemporary work of art because Macbeth belongs to the 16th century, whereas Polanski's Macbeth is the 20th century. It is still very, very contemporary. That is, it has contemporary current relevance. Now, the essay, as I said, it is in 5 paragraphs. Macbeth is a 5-act tragedy written by William Shakespeare somewhere around 1606. That is at the start of the 17th century. The play, Shakespeare's play, examines man's ability for both good and evil, heroism and evil, because he's a hero, a general, a military general. But what happens at the end? He kills his wife, he murders his wife, and he kills himself. It's a play for all ages, universal. That is why it is still relevant. Even now, in the 20th century, even though it was written at the start of the 17th century, we still read and enjoy it, appreciate it. Polanski's film version, Macbeth, is one of the most realistic of all Shakespeare's films. It's a great contemporary work of art. Set in the open countryside of Scotland, Polanski's adaptation of the drama is very, very faithful to the text. At the same time, it is greatly cinematic with a lot of creativity. Even though the film is set in the Middle Ages, well, 15th century, 16th century, it introduces a lot of fresh possibilities. The visual interpretations and the new elements added make it a real-world setting. Shakespeare's language flows naturally like a mountain stream. Paragraph number 3. The themes of fast change, violence, greed for power. Well, you can see all these things even now, the Second World War, the terrorism and all these things. The greed for power are very central to the film. These issues are very much prevalent in modern society as well. They remain at the heart of every global disturbance. The portrayal of Lady Macbeth can be seen as a mirror of the women's liberation movement. These ideas and attitudes are still very, very relevant, pertinent in society. Paragraph number 4. Polanski's movie also explores issues that are not seen in Shakespeare's Macbeth. For example, he does it in conformity with the contemporary setting, the current modern setting. In the midst of the gruesome murder, characters such as Malcolm, oh, he's very virtuous, a very virtuous man, a good man, and sensitive Macduff, they stand out as brief candles and provide plenty of hope. The film is fashioned for an age different from that of Shakespeare, an age of the 2 world wars, the Holocaust, during the Second World War, and terrorism of the modern times. Well, paragraph number 5. Viewed as a whole, when you look at the film as a whole, the film can be seen as a great work of literature turned into, a great work of literature, Shakespeare's Macbeth, turned into a brilliant film for the modern world, for the contemporary world. It is a microcosm, a small world, the small one of a big one, a bigger one. Microcosm and the macrocosm. It's a microcosm of the modern world of power game, number 1. Usurpation, usurp power, machinations, and a global war with a little bit of candlelight of hope and optimism. Well, friends, this is the model question paper, the second model question paper with their answers. As I said at the beginning, remember? Well, it's in 6 pages. Take a printout from the link that is given below in the description box, and you can read it. It will certainly help you. These 2 model question papers, model question paper number 1 and model question paper number 2, these 2 are, I believe, sufficient for you to perform well in your coming examination. So thank you very much. Best of luck.